Hi, this is Chris Condon with John Green Commercial and IndustrialAreaAdvisor.com. Wanted to take a couple of minutes today here to talk about common mistakes I see when people are looking to buy Will County industrial properties. So number one mistake I see is not really understanding what's going on in the marketplace. The trends are ultimately going to kind of dictate and or determine how good of a deal you're able to get when you look at buying industrial property here. So, one of the things that you want to be aware of what's going on in the marketplace is prices rising or falling. As we see right now, prices are definitely rising and probably will continue to for some time here in the future. A lot of that is kind of dictated by what's going on with the inventory. The inventory is probably at about a 10-year low right now. As you can see, it's basically about a third or so of what it was here just in the last 3 years. So that's ultimately driving pricing higher, and looks like it's going to continue to go that direction for the foreseeable future. We're also seeing properties come on the market and go off the market relatively quickly. On average, a sale's taking place within 5 months these days. So that's under contract within 30 to 60 days and closing another 30 to 60 days after that on average. So putting yourself in a position to be able to move quickly ultimately is going to be to your advantage, which kind of comes down to, are you paying cash or if you're going to be financing a property? If financing, you honestly need to have your financing kind of in place. You have some sort of a pre-approval, or at least have had some preliminary conversations about how exactly you're going to finance this. It ultimately allows you to negotiate from a position of strength and move quickly in order to secure a property that works for you. Another thing that's kind of a common problem today or challenge is having too narrow of a criteria where we can't create a situation where you have a couple of good options that work for you and ultimately allow you to kind of negotiate from a position of strength where you have options and you're not emotionally attached to just the one property driving up pricing. Another common thing that I see is buyers not necessarily having an attorney relationship in place, not having an attorney review a contract prior to signing that contract. You really want to understand or need to understand the full legal ramifications of the contract before you sign it. Another challenge that I see pretty common is not necessarily having a due diligence checklist, meaning that some items get missed or not necessarily reviewed once a property is under contract. Always work from a kind of a due diligence checklist just to make sure everything with the property is good before you go ahead and buy the property. Property inspection certainly helps with that. I see a lot of buyers kind of make some mistakes with not having a licensed property inspector take a look at it to confirm that the roof is in good condition, the HVAC units are in good condition, there's no other mechanical defects with the property to be aware of. So always want to have one of those done. Another thing, most of the lenders these days are going to require a phase 1 environmental assessment. I think is a really good idea just because it's kind of like an insurance policy to a certain extent. If you have a valid environmental assessment done at the time of purchase, kind of as a point of demarcation where you're aware of everything that's happened before you've owned the property, and then from that point forward, you've got a record of your own environmental cleanliness, I guess, or records with the property. It ultimately will make it easier for you to sell the property in the future. Another mistake that I see that you want to avoid, buying a property without at least having a conversation with the municipality regarding your use and zoning. Last thing you want after buying a new property is to have some sort of a zoning issue or challenge that you need to overcome and or address with the city. Ultimately, you want to buy the property, move into the property, be able to utilize the property without any issues. So just a few tips. I hope that you find them helpful. If there's any questions you have or any ways that I can help you at all, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Happy to meet with you and help however I can. Once again, Chris Condon with John Green Commercial and IndustrialAreaAdvisor.com.